The Passover. The Lord spoke to Moses in the desert of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they came out of Egypt. He said, "Have the Israelites celebrate the Passover at the appointed time. Celebrate it at the appointed time at twilight on the 14th day of this month, in accordance with all its rules and regulations." So Moses told the Israelites to celebrate the Passover, and they did so in the desert of Sinai at twilight on the 14th day of the first month. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord commanded Moses. But some of them could not celebrate the Passover on that day, because they were ceremonially unclean on account of a dead body. So they came to Moses and Aaron that same day and said to Moses, "We have become unclean because of a dead body, but why should we be kept from presenting the Lord's offering with the other Israelites at the appointed time?" Moses answered them, "Wait until I find out what the Lord commanded concerning you." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites, when any of you or your descendants are unclean because of dead body or ate away on a journey, they are still to celebrate the Lord's Passover, but they are to do it on the first day on the second month at twilight. They are to eat the lamb together with unleavened bread and bitter herb. They must not leave any of it till morning or break any of its bones. When they celebrate the Passover, they must follow all a journey fair to celebrate the Passover. They must be cut off from their people for not presenting the Lord's offering. At the appointed time, they will bear the consequence of their sin. A foreigner residing among you is also to celebrate the Lord's Passover in accordance with its rules and regulation. You must have the time regulations for both the foreigner and the native born. The cloud above the tabernacle. On the day the tabernacle, the tent of the covenant law, was set up, the cloud covered it. From evening till morning, the cloud above the tabernacle looked like fire. That is how it continued to be. The cloud covered it. At night, it looked like fire. Whenever the cloud lifted from above the tent, the Israelites set out. Whenever the cloud settled, the Israelites encamped. At the Lord's command, the Israelites set out, and at his command they encamped. As long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle, they remained in camp. When the cloud remained over the tabernacle a long time, the Israelites obeyed the Lord's order and did not set out. Sometimes the cloud was over the tabernacle only a few days. At the Lord's command, they would encamp, and then at his command, they would set out. Sometimes the cloud stayed only from evening till morning, and when it returned in the morning, they set out, whether by day or by night. Whenever the cloud lifted, they set out, whether the cloud stayed over the tabernacle for 2 days, or a month, or a year. The Israelites would remain in camp and not set out. But when it lifted, they would set out. At the Lord's command, they encamped. And at the Lord's command, they set out. They obeyed the Lord's order in accordance with his commanded through Moses. The silver trumpet. The Lord said to Moses, "Make 2 trumpets of hammered silver, and use them for calling the community together and for having the camp set out. When both are sounded, the whole community is to assemble before you at the entrance to the tent of meeting. If only one is sounded, the leader, the head of the clan of Israel, are to assemble before you. When a trumpet blasted in sounded, the tribes camping on the east are to set out. At the sounding of a second blast, the camps on the south are to set out. The blast will be a signal for setting out to gather the assembly, blow the trumpet, but not with the signal for setting out. The sons of Aaron, the priest, are to blow the trumpet. This is to be lasting ordinance for you and generations to come. When you go into battle in your own land against an enemy who is opposing you, sound the blast on the trumpet, and you will be remembered by the Lord your God and rescued from the enemies. Also at your times of rejoicing, your appointed festival and new moon feast, you are to sound the trumpet over the burnt offering and fellowship offerings, and they will be memorial for you before your God. I am the Lord your God." The Israelites leave Sinai. On the 20th day of the second month of the second year, the cloud lifted from above the tabernacle of the covenant law. Then the Israelites set out from the desert of Sinai and traveled from place to place until the cloud came to rest in the desert of Paran. They set out this first time at the Lord's commanded through Moses. The divisions of the camp of Judah went first under their standard. Nahshon, son of Aminadab, was in command. Netanel, son of Jorah, was over the division of the tribe of Issachar, and Eliab, son of Hebron, was over the division of the tribe of Zebulun. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Gershonites and Merarites was carried it set out. The divisions of the camp of the Reuben went next. Under their standard, Elizur, son of Shedurah, was in command. Shelumiel, son of Jurisha, I was over the division of the tribe Simeon, and Elizabeth, son of Deuel, was over the division of the tribe of Gad. Then the Kohathites set out, carrying the holy things. The tabernacle was to be set up before they arrived. The divisions of the camp of Ephraim went next. Under the standard, Elishama, son of Ammihud, was in command. Gamaliel, son of Pedahzur, was over the division of the tribe of Manasseh, and Abidan, son of Gideoni, was over the division of the tribe of Benjamin. Finally, as the rear guard for all the unit, the division of the camp of Dan set out under their standard, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. Was in command. Pagiel, son of Okran, was over division over the tribe of Asher, and Ahira, son of Enan, was over the division over the tribe Naphtali. This was the order of march for the Israelite divisions as they set out. Now Moses said to Hobab, son of Reuel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, we are setting out for the place about which the Lord said, I will give it you. Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised good things to Israel. He answered, No, I will not go. I am going back to my own land and my own people. But Moses said, Please do not leave us. You know where we should camp in the wilderness, and you can be our eyes. If you come with us, we will share with you whatever good things the Lord give us. So they set out from the mountain of the Lord and traveled for 3 days. The ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them during those 3 days to find them a place to rest. The cloud over the Lord was over them by day when they set out from the camp. Whenever the ark set out, Moses said, Rise up, Lord. May your enemies be scattered. May your foes flee before you. Whenever it came to rest, he said, Return, Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel. Fire from the Lord. Now the people complained about their hardship in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. Glory from the Lord. The rabble with them began to crave other food, and again the Israelites started wailing and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Also the cucumber, melon, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna." The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it in a mortar. They cooked it in a pot or made it into loaves. And it tastes like something mixed with olive oil. When the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. Moses heard the people of every family wailing the entrance to their tents. The Lord became exceedingly angry. The Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you, that you put the burden or the people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms, as a nurse carries an infant, to the land you promised, and also to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, 'Give us meat to eat.' I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me, if I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin." The Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders, who are known you as leader and official among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting. that they may stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there. And I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. They will share the burden of the people with you so that you will not have to carry it alone. Tell the people, consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow. When you will eat meat, the Lord heard you when you wailed, if only we had meat to eat. The were better off in Egypt. Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it. You will not eat it for just 1 day, or 2 days, or 5, 10, or 20 days, but for a whole month, until it comes out of the nostrils, and you lose it, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and have waived before him, saying, Why did we ever leave Egypt? The Moses said, Here I am among 600,000 men on foot, and you say, I will give them meat to eat for a whole month. Would they have enough if flocks and herd were slaughtered for them? Would they have enough if all the fish in the sea were caught of them? The Lord answered Moses, Is the Lord's arm too short? Now you will see whether or not what I say will come true for you. The Lord answered Moses, Is the Lord's arm too short? So Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He brought together 70 of their elders and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke with him, and he took some of the power of the Spirit tent was on him and put it on the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but did not do so again. However, 2 men, whose names were Eldad and Medad, had remained in the camp. They were listed among the elders, but did not go out to the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua Joshua son of Nun, who had been Moses' aide since youth, spoke up and said, Moses, my Lord, stop them. But Moses replied, Are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit on them. Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. Now a wind went out from the road and drove quail in from the sea. It scattered them up to 2 cubits deep all around the camp, as far as a day's works in any direction. All the day and night, all the next day, the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 10 homers. Then they spread them out all around the camp, but while the meat was still between their teeth, and before it could be consumed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people, and struck them with several plagues. Therefore, the place was named Kibroth Hattaavah. Because there they buried the people who had craved other food. From Kibroth Hattaavah, the people traveled to Hazeroth and stayed there. Miriam and Aaron opposes Moses. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife. For the had married a Cushite, has the Lord spoke only through Moses? They asked, Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. Now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. At once the Lord said to Moses, Aaron and Miriam, come out the tent of meeting, all three of you. So the 3 of them went out. Then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud. He stood at the entrance to the tent and summoned Aaron and Miriam. And the 2 of them stepped forward. He said, Listen to my words. When there is prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? The anger of the Lord burned against them, and he left them. When the cloud lifted from above the tent, Miriam's skin was leprous. It became as white as snow. Aaron turned towards her and saw that she had defiling skin disease. And he said to Moses, Please, my Lord, I ask you not to hold against us the sin we have so foolishly commanded. Do not let her be like a stillborn infant coming from each mother's womb, with its flesh half eaten away. So Moses cried out to the Lord, Please God, hear her. The Lord replied to Moses, If her father had spit in her face, would she not have been in disgrace for 7 days? Confine her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she can be brought back. So Miriam was confined outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not move until she was brought back. After that, the people had left Hazeros and encamped in the desert of Paran. Exploring Canaan. The Lord said to Moses, Send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I giving to the Israelites from each ancestral tribe. Send one of each leaders. So at the Lord's commanded, Moses sent them out from the desert of Paran. All of them were leaders of the Israelites. These are their names: from the tribes of Reuben, Shammua son of Zachru; from the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat son of Hori; from the tribe of Judah, Caleb son of Jephunneh; from the tribe of Issachar, Igal son of Joseph; from the tribe of Ephraim, Hosea son of Nun; from the tribe of Benjamin, Palti son of Raphu; from the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel son of Sodi; from the tribe of Manasseh, a tribe of Joseph, Gadi son of Sushi; from the tribe of Dan, Amiel son of Gemali; from the tribe of Asher, Setur son of Mikael; from the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi son of Popshi; from the tribe of Gad, Geuel son of Maki. These are names of the men. These are the names of men Moses sent to explore the land. Moses gave Hosea son of Nun the name Joshua. When Moses sent them to explore Canaan, he said, "Go up through the Negev and on into the hill country. See what the land is like and whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. What kind of land do they live in? Is it good or bad? What kind of town do they live in? Are they onward or fortified? How is the soil? Is it fertile or poor? Are there trees in it or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruits of the land." It was season for the first ripe grapes. So they went up, explored the land from the desert of Zin as far as Rehob, toward the river Hamas. They went up through the Negev and came to Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, and descendant of Anak, lived. Hebron had been built 7 years before Joan in Egypt. And when they reached the valley of Eshcol, they cut off branch bearing a single cluster grapes. 2 of them carried it on the floor between them, along with some pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the cluster of grapes the Israelites cut off there. At the end of 40 days, they returned from exploring the land. Report on the exploration. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. There they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruits of the land. They gave Moses this account: "We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruits, but the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev. The Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. And the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan." Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." But the man who had gone up with him said, "We can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are." And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, the land we explored, the birds, those living in it, all the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, though we looked the same to them.